The biggest advantage you have, the biggest leverage that you can use to differentiate yourself from others is... What's up, you guys? It's Joseph here. Welcome back to another video. With all the downtime that we've had in society over the past couple of weeks, we've all had the extra time to reevaluate our businesses, ourselves digitally, what we're doing, how the process is going, and most importantly, how we can get the most out of our efforts. In today's TikTok, I want to go over and share with you some never before seen principles for virality on TikTok. Big hype, I know, but seriously, I want to break down some live content on the For You page, and I want to show you how it follows these basic ideas that I'm about to lay out. One of the biggest, if not the most challenging issues that we all face is how do I get more views and likes on my TikTok videos? I put all the significant amount of hours and hours into creating quality content, uploading multiple times a day, only to find out that at the end of the day, I get as many likes and views on my videos as there are lakes and oceans on the sun. And listen, I get it. There is nothing more vexing and frustrating than putting a significant amount of time, effort, and talent into creating a video only to find that it falls short and gets no views. In fact, the very first video that I recently uploaded to a new account that I just created this week that I'm planning on growing from 0 to 1 million followers, a bit ambitious, I know, but I'm gonna be doing a docu-series, a mini-series of that growth process here on my channel coming soon. The first video that I uploaded just yesterday got around 2,000 views, which I get it isn't zero, but still, considering the amount of time, effort, and talent that went into creating that video, I feel it deserves more recognition, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of you feel the same about your content as well. So in today's video, I want to go over 3 things in particular. Number 1, what I like to call the 3 R's of viral content. Number 2, the video hook. And finally, why you should hit that like button down below if you receive value from this video. Just kidding, but seriously. Let's talk TikTok. So the big question here, my videos on TikTok do not perform well. Why? Well, there's a variety of reasons, but I feel like this is important to note. I think one of the biggest misconceptions that people can make on TikTok, and one of the immediate assumptions that they often have when their videos don't perform as expected, is that just because they don't act a certain way, look a certain way, have access to the same resources or friends as someone else does, that they can't be successful on TikTok. The reality is you can if you are committed. Right now, what we're gonna do is I wanna show you how most of the content on the For You page actually falls into one of 3 categories. You can keep these in the back of your mind as the 3 R's. The 3 R's are as follows: content that is relatable, content that is a recreation, and content that is a reaction. So let's break these down and explore these in a bit more depth. Let's start with content that is relatable. Now, this might be a situation that people all too commonly find themselves in, that in your video, you're able to portray in a humorous fashion, or you're able to show a hack that people can use to help them get them out of this predicament if it's a problem and you provide the solution. So the second R is recreation. Now, recreating content sounds a bit broad, but it has to do with revising a trend. You see a video that does well, aka a video over 100,000 likes or so, and so you take that idea, you copy it, but you add to it in your own unique way. Now, we'll get into some specific video examples of what this actually looks like in just a second, but just know that the biggest advantage you have, the biggest leverage that you can use to differentiate yourself from others is what can you add to that idea to enhance it in your own unique way. So a while ago, there was a trend going around where people would take an earpods case and they would put soap in it and attempt to freeze that, even though you can't freeze soap, but they were hoping to get what was a frozen soap AirPod. What I did just out of curiosity was take this idea, use a little bit of a different mixture instead of soap and freeze that, and then play a prank on my brother, making a multiple part series out of those videos. The videos actually ended up performing very, very well, garnering over several million views. And in fact, interestingly enough, the very next day, I saw several other people copying my exact same idea. So that being said, the third R is reactions. Now, I'm not talking about the React feature. That's a subject for a later video because I do have some thoughts on that. I'm talking about content that integrates and showcases human reactions in your videos. For instance, someone says something to their mom or does something in front of their mom and their mom reacts. Videos that showcase the emotions and the reactions of others are very powerful, depending, of course, on the level of emotion shown. I would actually argue that most of the content that you see on the For You page, at least a vast majority of the trends during this pandemic season, which is when I'm filming this video, most of those ideas, those trends are reaction-based. based. And so what I want to do right now is actually pull up the For You page. We're going to take a look at TikTok, and I want to show you how most of the content that you see actually falls into one of these three categories. So I'm going to throw the screencast of the For You page here right up on screen so you guys can follow along with me as we take a look at how reoccurring a lot of these themes often are with the content that you see on the For You page. But one quick disclaimer, I can't be playing the audio because a lot of this is copyrighted mainstream songs and sounds, and I don't want to risk getting a copyright strike or otherwise demonetized on this video. So I'm going to be listening here through with my earbuds, and that being said, let's take a look at some of this content. This looks like it's something that I was gonna say reaction based. So we have this guy here flinging his coffee at this girl sitting at the booth in McDonald's. I think the highlight of the comments is probably gonna be about the reactions. There is a typical response. This looks like something that's reaction based. I think people were watching content like this because of the reactions here. Moving on, this seems like, so this is a trend that I've seen multiple times on TikTok, and you're gonna have to scroll through the For You page a couple times before you get video like this, but it's the whole upside down idea. So this would be a recreation of someone's initial idea of eating food upside down. I saw someone doing one where they were actually they were brushing their teeth upside down, and they had flipped their entire room around for whatever reason. I don't know how you do that, but they were doing something like that. So this would be, I guess, a recreation. So this seems like it's something that is relatable. So anything with bubble text like be like, when you do this, those kind of bubble text ideas usually are relatable. This is actually a very, very simple piece of content. I'm surprised it's gone this viral. So this is a really interesting piece of content right here, and there's actually one thing that I want to point out right here. I would classify this as a little bit of a reaction-based piece of content, not in the sense that there is human emotion involved, but because of the idea that it's getting people to react by commenting with the engagement strategy. So this is something that I talked about in one of my other videos, the idea of using the captions, which is such a undervalued asset on TikTok. You can get people to ask questions, or you can ask questions. You can say something so wacky and out of context that it prompts people to actually comment something in the comment section, and he's encouraging people to name this dessert. And so it's encouraging reactions from this video, and I think that's super, super powerful. Let's take a look at another piece of content. This is a recreation. Now, this is also a trend that I've seen on the For You page as well, the idea of trimming water. I know Mr. Beast initially started this idea with his cutting water video, and you can actually take a look at his profile, and he started that whole idea. I believe he started it. Forgive me if I'm not crediting the original creator. But the whole idea of cutting water, again, this is a recreation of the idea. They actually took it literally and did the actual cuts of the water, which I find is very, very clever usage of masking here. Okay, look at the caption, my mom at the end. It's gonna be a reaction-based video. There you go. You see the mom's reaction? This is an example of reaction-based. I think I mentioned the mom scenario when I was talking earlier. Okay, so this is something that is relatable, right? The whole pandemic, I'm not gonna say the name because people are getting demonetized because of that, but the entire, the pandemic that's going around, this is a relatable piece of content to a scenario that I think a lot of people find themselves in when they're trying to get out of this abode of self-isolation. They're going for the walk, and this guy's taking a scenario and creating a comical video out of it. Okay, so this is another one that I've seen happen multiple times as well. This idea, I think this is a really interesting one because I think it checks two boxes. It's also a current trend. I've seen a lot of people do this with their siblings a couple times. Actually, I was doing a little bit of research right before this video, and I saw a similar version of this video. But this checks both the boxes of both being a reaction-based video with I'm assuming this is her younger brother here with the humorous faces, and this is also checks the box of being a recreation of a trend as well. Zach King, my man. I haven't seen this video. I pride myself in being one of the first to watch his content. This is so good. So one of my next videos coming out, I think it's the next one, is actually going to be on Zach King and why I truly think he's a genius on the app with his strategy and everything like that. So this is a video, gosh, I want to save this video for analysis at another time because, well, that's a whole nother video. So here's another example of something that is relatable for all of those gamers out there. I also want you to take note of the hashtags that he's using. He's doing a great job with hashtags, and although I would recommend getting a little bit broader with those, he's doing a good job defining hashtags that are I guess unique to people who are into Fortnite. So he's using an example here when Fortnite finally updates, and then he's, I guess, showing how you might physically express that sensation. So this is a great example of content that is relatable, and I think that's pretty much it. You can see there's just so many different common themes here of people that are using content in different ways, whether it's relatable content or content that is recreating an already existing idea, or simply content that is reaction based. So use this in your own videos. Now you'll notice it in a lot of these videos, there is what's called a video hook, or simply a hook. This usually happens within the first 5 seconds of the video, where the stage is set or something is shown without context that leads us to keep watching the video. As a lot of you know, one of the primary attributes of your content being pushed further to larger and larger audiences is good watch time. The longer you can get your viewers to stick around and complete the video or rewatch it, the better. You'll notice that on some of my top performing videos, the watch time was more than double the actual duration of the entire video, meaning that people were rewatching it multiple times and tell me that that is not a crystal clear indication to TikTok that that is a piece of content, a great piece of content worth showing to others. Now this brings up an interesting point and a little bit of a side tangent that I'm gonna go ahead and mention now, and forgive me for getting sidetracked here, but I personally do not believe that a scroll by counts as a video view. In fact, I did a little bit of an experiment recently where I had a couple of friends of mine follow a new account, and as soon as I posted a video and they saw it on their following tab, to scroll right by it. The end result of that is that even though I had 10 friends do that, the video only got about 2 or 3 views, which leads me to conclude that unless you are watching a few seconds, your viewer doesn't really count, or in that case, a scroll by doesn't count as a view. Your video very well could be in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, but for whatever reason, they're just not stopping to watch it. Whether that's because the first few seconds were interesting or intriguing enough, or because there's low engagement on the video. Because let's be honest, not just on TikTok, but on social media in general, how many of us actually judge the entertainment value of a video based on the social proof or lack thereof that we see? None of us like being the first like or the third like or the first person to watch a video. We want that societal affirmation that this is a piece of content worth our time. So what I found is the biggest takeaway here is to focus on making those first 3 seconds of your video as entertaining, as out of the ordinary as you possibly can. Now, what a lot of people will do is they won't reveal the bass drop in the music or the video punchline until the very end, and they'll have slow buildup of what's going to happen along the way. Now that can work, but fundamentally it relies on the chance of your audience sticking around all the way until the end, or at least the video climax, which in reality doesn't happen very often. For every video that goes viral on the For You page, there's probably about 10 others that are just as good that for whatever reason didn't make it because people just weren't watching long enough. Which makes you wonder how many other top future creators are out there putting out content that people just don't see, waiting to be discovered. So that being said, there's one last thing I want to do, and I want to take a look at one of my own videos that uses this idea of a video hook. So take a look at the first few seconds of this clip. So I just bought this bag at the magic store, and apparently it has the ability to make people disappear. I'm gonna try it out right now. Already with that one sentence, I establish mystery and a little bit of anticipation in what's gonna happen with that magic bag. Am I gonna make someone disappear? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen next? And you'll notice I do a lot of little things too, like fidgeting with a bag or flipping my cap around just to add a little bit of level of abnormality to it. And that quick camera motion of me running into frame real fast sets the pace of the video. And so far it's performed fairly well. So let's break things down. If you're not getting the traction that you want, that you expected on your videos, make sure, number one, that they are falling into those viral categories we talked about, and that you're making those first 3 seconds as intriguing as possible. Now, if you're watching this far, and thank you for doing so, you'll notice that I use the same idea of a video hook in this YouTube video that you're watching as well. I did this with a preview in the very beginning. So that being said, try this idea in your own TikTok videos. Keep me updated on the process and comment down below so that I can help you if I can in any way. I have some really valuable content coming soon, some videos that I'm super pumped about. So if that sounds appealing to you, or if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and hit that like button down below and comment what are some of the struggles that you're dealing with TikTok. Those give me great inspiration for future video ideas. And also I'm more than happy to just reach out, help you guys, and unlock meaningful growth in any way that it possibly can. So that being said, thank you so much for watching. Best of luck. And as always, we'll talk next time. Take care. Cheers.